Hey, oh, there you go. Hey, what's up? You appeared. You have teleported. Hello, how are you?
Hello, so sorry.
You do not worry, because I cursed the day that app was born. Whenever like that's cool, that app. No, so it's okay. I thought, but we thought, and it's all right. Look, welcome, and I love you, and how are you doing? And hello, everybody who are enjoying this amazing podcast, Sisters of the Shire, and so good to see you again. And how are you?
I am doing great.
Okay.
Sorry, I was like, oh no! So I was like frantically getting ready.
Do not worry. It's okay. Now we'll figure out a lot of that behind the scenes stuff out later. It's I think on my end with the scheduling thing, you've seen it. And by the way, to people who might want to know, not only eclectic, very perceptive, discerning podcast host, also extremely patient friend I've got here.
Patient with friend. Me. Like, sorry, we can't schedule on my daughter's birthday. That's not allowed.
No. You've been patient with me because I think there were a number of times where it's like, it's 5 p.m., right? It's PT, right? It's ET, right?
Yeah.
And do not worry, this will all get smoothed over. But look, I hope the day finds you well, and I hope this post-season 1 world of this wonderful The Rings of Power in our lives also finds you well. So where are you at, my friend? Where are you at, Ashley?
I am like, okay, what is season 2, episode 1 going to start with? That's like, I have like 6 different scenarios in my brain.
Yep. Okay, that's a very good question. And I love Mind's Eye Cinema. So you and I, again, like-minded on that. Okay. So I believe it will start. Hey, if they want to go crazy, they could start in Run. Like they could start with this beautiful silhouette. I was pretty much just in the middle of talking about it with the chat, who have yet to appear, but I'm calling them the ghost chat. There you go.
Sure.
You can. By the way, feel free to put like link in bio so we can bring your lovely peeps, because I'm sure they would love the chance.
I meant to do it in that hour that I thought I.
That is totally fine, but I'll keep answering your question while you do that.
Yes, please.
I was thinking about the power of certain silhouettes and the silhouettes across the horizon, which we know from both Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, of the 9 companions, and then Gandalf leading the dwarves. And I just found this solitary silhouette of like a super tall wizard, obviously compared to a halfling. So just Gandalf and Nori heading to Run together. I would actually like a bit of a time gap, because just a little
I was wondering that too.
So that we can see him in some semblance of maybe like the stranger, or now we can just say Gandalf, because it's Gandalf to me. 2.0 with something resembling his wizardly robes, maybe like early travel Gandalf was kind of going to be interesting to me. Yeah,
he has to find the right walking stick, and
yes, that's absolutely right. We're going to see, by the way, you nailed it. We're going to see the origin of him finding that the stick that we know him to have, the staff. I told you to take his staff,
because then he's because then he steals Radagast's at one point. I never realized that till later. I'm like, oh,
fun. and so yeah, for me, it's just been, when I sort of ask myself intuitively, what's the level of hype? I mean, the Gandalf reveal had me standing on my couch because of the just that always follow your nose. It felt lovely. It felt consistent.
I literally had that like moment.
Yeah, I know, and that's, you just created the thumbnail. I'm gonna have you. We'll just both do that. There you go. So yeah, and now I have to talk about, I'm going to get a bit sappy. Obviously, Ashley, this means, and retroactively, deepens the pathos and deepens the cozy loveliness and wholesomeness of Gandalf's affinity with halflings, with halfwoods, because he feels a sense, now we can see retroactively, like that sense of maybe feeling indebted to them for turning him towards good when he was in this, and like orienting him towards like, the good, instead of
I am good. I love that. It was so childlike, but it wasn't cheesy at all. I loved it so much.
Yeah, totally, totally. So, and now we know, like, his first robe, so to speak, was a half foot, I
Yeah.
guess,
Blanket.
yeah, it was like
Rest.
it's one of those shawls they used to maybe cover.
But if it
um
covered him,
yeah, yeah. So what I think is that it's like they cared for him, and they nurtured him, they set him right, and that's why. And I'm sorry, but next time I see Fellowship, I'll be like, oh, my heart will just have this moment of like,
Mhm.
that's why he loves them,
Yeah,
admirable hobbits,
yeah.
and that line. I'm getting, look at that, goosebumps, folks. Look, um, you can, that thing about you can know them after 100 years and they'll still surprise you. That's
hmm
Nori. He might even be talking about her, or whatever.
Okay,
Like,
okay. I
ah,
have
anyway,
a premonition, uh,
yes,
a prediction.
prediction.
Prediction
Yep,
is the word I
yep,
was
yep,
looking
yep,
for.
yep. Hmm.
Okay, so we know it showed the origin of the Hobbit love. I want to
Yes.
see the origin of the dwarf love now.
Oh my Lord, yes. That
And
would be
he's
wonderful.
gonna find a baby. Oh, we have a baby.
Oh,
Speaking of babies,
speak, and they shall appear.
do you want to
Speak,
say
friend, and
hi to
enter.
Albert?
Yeah,
Apparently,
hello.
I told her that you are where Bluey is from.
Oh, yes, that's right. I am
That's about all I
indeed.
could tell her. Lizzie, did you want to say hi?
You can say hi.
You
Hello.
can say hi.
Hi.
You found it? Say
Wonderful. Well,
hi.
hi there. Welcome. Welcome. Great to meet you.
I have
Hello
my
from
headphones in,
Australia.
so she can't hear you, but she can
That's all right. You're amazing.
wave.
Great to meet you. We'll have you on the show down the line, okay? Yeah, you can talk to us about whatever season you like, okay? Bye.
Okay. Say bye. Bye, bye.
Bye. Have a good day. I love that your
Where's
Zoom
Dad?
mask she literally appears from the unseen world and then disappears. There you go.
Slender back.
Got your own
Go
little
back to
wraith
the
running around there.
shadow.
Back to the another beautiful allusion to, You Shall Not Pass, which again I believe will add heft, and all the best a prequel can do is add heft and weight to whatever comes later. And so when I'm
Right.
watching Luke in that X-wing, I'm thinking about Andor, I'm thinking about Chirrut, I'm thinking about Felicity and the sacrifice they made in Rogue One. Like, it actually
Oh
went
yeah.
on to improve
It
the
means
original.
more now, yeah.
And when I see the Balrog, I'll feel him doing that for his canonical first time on Arda to
Mhm.
protect, his Hobbit friends, and he's
Yeah.
protecting his Hobbit friends again
Yeah.
once in this forest against these in mysterious mystics, and then again with Balrog. So, hey, before you answer, let me ask you this: Can you? I know you have stuff on. I just want to extend this to you because the love is real, and
Always.
the gift that we discussed is on its way to you, by the way. I'm doing a big
Oh,
thing today. But
no
are
worries.
you able to jump on with Bridie, the dweller? Can you do that later today?
Can I? I was like, I don't want to invite myself, but I don't
No,
know
I'm
how close
inviting
we
you.
are. I feel like
Of
I'm one of
course
those
we
like
are.
fangirls.
Okay,
Like
you're
we're
already done.
best friends in my
No,
mind, but I'm not
we're
sure
fine.
how it how real
I
it
just wanted to
is.
check because mostly it was just with the time zones. It'll be about 6-ish hours from now, but I think she would absolutely cherish to speak with you, definitely, from her
I'm
time.
not
She's
gonna
still in
lie
the
though.
UK,
I'm
actually.
Oh, okay. So what time is
Yeah.
it at?
Okay,
In
we're gonna
hours
have
from
an
now?
yeah.
So
So I'll actually.
10 p.m.
This will
my
be
time.
fun. So yes, I'll actually bring it up,
Okay.
and this is helpful for whoever's listening to this later. So if you bring up the little appy app there, and then you
Yeah.
click on Lady of Fire, it's actually it says live in 5 hours in the
Oh,
bottom
okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've actually started using that
I
function as
noticed
a
that.
perfect.
I was like, ooh,
Uh,
fancy.
yeah,
Albert's
as a
getting
perfect.
fancy.
So what time will it be for you in 5 hours? And I'm wincing already. Oh,
It will be 10 p.m.
that's not too
I
bad.
Not too bad, not for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
see how loud I am. I'm gonna have to keep my excitement down because
Okay.
and I share a neighboring wall with my daughter's room.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So
Well, then we will also. Sorry for hitting the
we can be
mic.
loud now,
We
but
No,
for
that's
that one,
okay.
I'll
That's
have
okay.
to contain my excitement.
All right, all right. Well, so for later though, definitely we will.
Definitely.
I mean, and it'll be. I think there's other stuff happening in the house here, so we can be kindred spirits in keeping it quiet. But I think it's going to be pretty
Okay.
mellow anyway. Brady
Yeah.
seems like a very chilled out person, so all right.
Well,
Sorry
I'm
for
not gonna
the.
lie. I did have a conversation with Abby about it, and I'm
Okay,
like, "Did you know that he is gonna have her on the podcast?" And she goes, "What if she just doesn't say anything like the whole time?
she
She
might.
just like
That is such an
stares,
Abby. That is such an Abby
right?"
response, and she can't join us either, right? I would love for Abby to join, but
Probably
probably
not.
not.
Yeah.
Okay. There will be many others.
Yes.
Do not worry about that. There will be for sure. And look, part of a lot. We won't dive into that because that's what's listeners where we're
Right.
going to talk about later. Is me starting project. Revive the dweller or whatever it's gonna. Come up with some slogan, but I believe she's like a creature of the unseen world, and she'll be back. And that's my
I
theory.
have
Nothing
many
confirmed.
theories.
Let's discuss them with her herself later. But
Right.
until then, I throw it to you. I've been talking for a while.
Okay. Oh,
More,
to yourself.
more
And
riffs for sure. And but with you. Sorry if I went on my tangents. I apologize.
no, I have
Okay.
them too. So we're
Okay. So
tangent
Ashley,
past the tangent.
tangents. Yeah, sharing of tangents. Now, Ashley. It has been a while since we spoke. I think. Yeah, like we sort of discussed the first. We analyzed very granularly the first few minutes of episode 1, and then
Yes.
life happened.
And then
But since then, how have you been enjoying the show? What were some standout moments for you? This is almost like a post show, post season.
okay. So I'm like trying to think of each story because they did it in a way that, I mean, I guess most multi-character stories are like this, where we flash to one, then we flash to the other, and we follow this timeline. Let's see. I loved Nori and Poppy. I want
So
Poppy to go
beautiful.
with her so bad. Why couldn't Poppy go too? That broke my heart.
We were wondering about that in that scene. Like, will they do a kind of equivalency and an analogous thing for Sam, Frodo, Nori, Poppy? But I was
Yeah.
actually really glad for that mixing it up. Just Nori and the
that's true.
stranger.
I do have to say, I did not for one second believe that he was Sauron. I don't want to I don't want to brag and say oh, I knew it all along. But no, they're like, oh yeah. But they're like, oh, Sauron. I'm like, no. No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's actually good. I think.
Oh, I
Go
didn't
ahead.
see Halbrand coming though. Not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have
knew
thoughts
something
about that.
bad. I knew he wasn't who he was pretending to be.
Okay.
I knew that. Well, I foresaw that, but
Okay.
I didn't see Sauron coming.
All right.
Did you?
Well, I was actually. I'm only if you throw it to me because I just want more Ashley to
Throw back.
balance out. Okay, throw it back. Okay, so if I've had it thrown back to me,
Throw back.
then I will say, I will say that throughout listening to some of the other post shows, Matt from Node of the Rings, he was actually really leaning into the Halbrand as Sauron. And a part of me thought that if that sort of reveal that comes, surely it will come later. Surely that'll be something for season 2 or 3, and there'll be
Right.
this thing. But I keep referring to this very telling refrain of both JD's, whose wife we spoke with yesterday. Rachel is amazing. She's great. Or a few days ago, such a rad human being. And when JD comes on, I'm basically forcing you and Abby to join. Okay.
I will. Whatever time, I will make it work.
Okay. All right. And so their refrain is they talk about the forging of the rings of power, the falling of Numenor. I don't know if they say rise of the Witch King or anything, but so they name these big things in a certain sequence. You can listen to interviews of theirs, and as soon as Alloyed, the finale happened, I was like, oh, look at you! You were actually kind of giving us a preview because there was a forging of the rings of power in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have so many questions about.
Okay. Yes. Especially since, and I'm not sure if some of the listeners familiar, but of course you would be because it's Sisters of the Shire, like skyrocketing on the Rise Amazing podcast. So they're going through the Silmarillion, and they are yes, you are, and they're Numenor deep in lore right now. As in,
I know. I'm like, I wish we could have hurried up a bit, but
that's okay. So
but it's also interesting hearing from Abby's perspective, who hasn't finished the Silmarillion yet, like she was saying, like, oh, I wonder if Elendil and Muriel, if that's going to happen. I'm like,
that is funny. That is interesting. I like the idea of the untold tales. We're actually speaking on the God of War podcast about this wonderful notion they have, which is the lost pages, right? The lost pages of Norse myth. And I wonder, because Bear McCreary got brought in as a composer, if there was some interfacing creatively, I don't know, on the writing level, where they're like, let's treat Rings of Power as simply the lost pages of Tolkien. And so they're there, and you just simply didn't read about this or that happening because it was happening in the background, or it was a lost page.
Oh my gosh. I had that same exact thing because I'm not sure how you feel about the Hobbit Tariel.
Oh, I have thoughts. I'll just put it that way, diplomatically. Yeah.
Okay. I have thoughts. I love her as a character just because she kicks butt and, whatever. But then the whole, like, sticking to the script, part of me is like, but I heard a theory that, like, we don't know everything that was going on at the time,
Thank you.
We don't know the background story. We don't know what this person was doing. Like, I was hearing theories when people are trying to figure out who Gandalf was, and I forgot what video it was. It was like, I thought I didn't appear until the Throne of Age, pretending to be Gandalf. But I'm like, but we don't know, we don't know the one good thing about Tolkien's writing being so mismatched and all over the place is that we can fill in the gaps wherever we want.
You have phrased it so perfectly. What if? You have phrased it so perfectly, and you've crystallized something that I've been thinking about. So first of all, for full disclosure, I think that in The Hobbit, Tauriel and is it Keely? It's Keely, right?
Okay.
That's okay. Their love theme, I'm serious, their love theme is absolutely stunning. I have to start with what I love.
Okay.
My heart kind of, goes out just the same way that it just na na na. Like it's
you love the music
right there, goosebumps. As soon as I hummed it,
goosebumps.
So from that point, I
love that
resonated
actor,
with
by
that.
the way.
Evangeline.
If you ever get him, I would die. If you got him, I would die.
It's the next person I'm reaching out to. You just made it happen. Just then. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would die.
Because here's the thing. It's the Lord of the Rings podcast. Sure, there's going to be it's just everything. So the love is real, and it's very inclusive.
Sorry,
and then that's all right. And then Tauria, like like her theme is extremely Legend of Zelda as well.
Yes.
So actually, she's badass. So there's always elements to love there. And once again, on this discussion of lost pages, it absolutely, Corey Olsen as well. I was listening to some of these amazing post shows over at Rings and Realms. I've just become an absolute evangelist for them. Have you been watching them, the post shows with the Tolkien professor?
I haven't been able to listen between getting my stuff out and
You know what?
But also, I also don't want to steal from others. I want to keep mine a bit. So it's one of those.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And Corey, what he basically said is, look, it would absolutely have made a chronological and historical sense for Legolas to have been at Greenwood, at Mirkwood, for the events of The Hobbit. So there was, and I think Tom Shippey also was involved with the lore crafting for the Hobbit films. Anyway, but needless to say, the way that how JD and Patrick have approached filling in, like, tantalizingly and like congruent with the lore, aligned with the lore, filling in the gaps. I so respect their reverence, but I respect their boldness as well.
Yeah,
you need a balance of reverence and boldness. Yeah. Any moments like that throughout the show where you're like, oh my God, they really walked that line, but it passed the Ashley test.
Yeah, there were a lot, but I can't think of any. That's Gandalf for sure, but or even Celeborn.
Yes, Celeborn. He
I was
wanted
like,
people to
what? And then I was like,
I'm gonna
wait,
try and I'll try and do a Celeborn smile. Ready? You know, do you remember that whole marketing thing where he's just sort of smiling and like beckoning people? It's like, how can you be mad at that man, at that amazing elf? You
I
know?
did see a lot of memes out there like, where's Halbrand? You know, like
Oh, ooh. And I'm sad for what, you know, is to come. It's we'll try and, you know, tiptoe around spoilers, but you know, Celeborn. That's all I'll say.
yeah.
Oh, oh, Borny.
Yeah.
The
There
Celeborn
was
supremacy. Sorry.
oh yeah.
No.
Let's see what else. I guess uh not spoilers.
If nothing's
Spoilers.
coming to mind, I just want to play a little violin for the pun that went over your head, the Killerborn supremacy. I should have used the Killerborn identity. Thank you.
Sorry.
I get 0 out of 10 for that one, and I totally
Sorry.
understand.
I was in other realms.
That's okay. You're in other realms. You were not
have
thinking
so
about.
many genres on your plate.
Oh, in my brain. My brain is completely shattered. But I think omnidirectional
Yes.
is I guess a nicer way to put it. Okay, so how about I throw some stuff and then
Yes,
you can
please.
bounce it back to me. Okay. So
Throw it.
Khazad-dûm, there was a concern. There was a
Okay.
concern about the appearance of the Balrog. Okay, Deep having having seen that little glimpse, there was a concern that this would initiate a giant end of season Khazad-dûm being destroyed completely against lore, and it didn't happen. And I honestly think that awakening is a bit of a. I mean, I think maybe On High wanted. Look, we want a Balrog in the trailer. We just, even if
Yeah.
it's a vision, even if it's a small, deep
Like
stirring
even
that
the
doesn't
Ents
lead
in
to
the
anything.
trailer, and
Yeah.
they just have to have some nostalgic creatures to
Yeah.
pull the diehards in.
But so you didn't have. So what was, if I just say Ashley, Khazad-dûm, the dwarves? How would you respond throughout this season?
Okay, I did have one thing with the dwarves and their helmets.
The helmets. I'll be honest.
The face. Okay, I
You know,
literally.
it's okay.
I'm going to post a picture later because I didn't want to post. I didn't want to. I'm like trying not to post Rings of Power stuff until people like can finish it.
Of course.
But there
of course.
is a. Okay, I'm assuming you've seen the movie 300.
Yes.
Okay, there is a set of soldiers on, and of course the Persian side, and they have these black mask helmet things, and they look exactly the same as the dwarf helmets. I'm like, I can't take you seriously.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I know you first.
No. I
You
had
more?
more, but I could go on forever, man.
I want you to go on forever.
Okay.
Seriously, this is yeah. Go.
Okay, so this was I rewatched all of them before tonight because I wanted to be able to research as I went. When I first watched them, it was I'm taking it all in, and now I'm like, okay, Google this guy, connect the dots. So I was wondering too, okay, from the leaf falling and waking the Balrog up to, I guess, the destruction to Fellowship, where they find them in the mines. Like I wondered how long of a period that was.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, who's to say maybe he went back to sleep.
That's
maybe
what I'm
he had
thinking.
some tidying up to do. Maybe he needs some yoga in the morning.
Yes.
I don't know.
Balrog yoga. Oh, that's a t-shirt right there. Seriously,
no, he has to ribbon dance.
Balrog ribbon dance. I actually think if it's not out there, and let me know later, and let Ashley know if someone did do a themed Balrog ribbon dance. We need to know about this.
I would need to know immediately.
It hasn't been done. And if you are a ribbon dancer, you need
Please
to
do it.
play da 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 da, like just blast it, and you will get top marks in your ribbon dancing class if you do the Balrog.
And you would make me so happy.
Yeah, make Ashley happy. We're starting that hashtag. Happy. Ashley tag. Okay. Yeah.
What was the other? I didn't realize that. So Aule creating the dwarves to dwarf to Durin. Durin's dad is one of the OG dwarves.
Yeah.
And there was a scene where Elrond is like, they were talking about names or whatever, and he's like, Durin, son of Durin, grandson of, and then he gets cut off. And I'm like, but
Ooh,
would that have been Aule? Like, what, grandson of
Kinda.
who?
We are very early on where there is this presence of, I guess you could call it like, yeah, the world still feels a bit fresh, from it's still got the shine on it from having been just formed, unless we get a first age. I know, unless we get a first age show, which would be interesting. I mean,
Which would be interesting.
Just listen to film, which is there.
That was actually one of my theories of how season 2 would start. It's a random theory, but I'm throwing it out there. And if it happens, I am the winner of all the prizes. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Are you ready for this? Okay.
Go.
It's going to be Adar
pre-scarring
darkness.
Okay.
Yes. He's going to wake up and he's going to be in like the Cuivianen, like waters of awakening. And then he's going to get kidnapped or, but you're going to see him like hit that transformation, that timeline.
That's a pizza bet, by the way. Unless you don't like pizza, if that happens, I will get you a pizza.
Thank you. I love pizza.
Pizza bet.
Because okay, so
no, you first.
That was my thing. I was trying to figure out. Sorry, I'm not. I'm like.
Do not worry.
We're vomiting
right
now.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's okay.
Because that was my main thing. I was trying. That's my main puzzle in my brain is trying to figure out how him and Halbrand Sauron. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but
Halbrand.
How they and I think they're enemies. I think maybe one was trying to usurp the other because
they were.
What's his face got really mad. Adar got really mad when he called him Sauron. He's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
But then he seemed sad when he said I killed Sauron. So maybe it was like a leader that he wanted to topple.
Well, at the risk of just descriptively, Adar has components of Sauron to him in that he was one of, Sauron was a lieutenant to Morgoth and Adar was a lieutenant to Sauron. So, and similarly, he broke off from Sauron, just as Sauron broke off from Morgoth. So my thinking is that, and I alluded to this on one of the shows with Ray, that it's a bit of a Breaking Bad situation where Adar is a bit of like the Salamancas, the sort of smaller scale, or not as like intense as the Gus Fring kind of thing. And I kind of see Sauron as having sort of stood back and watched as Adar created Mount Doom, which again, now that I watch the sequels again, it's already, even in this one season, I'll come back to what you're saying though, definitely. But even in this one season, now, and when I see Mount Doom, I will think of Adar, even the Adar, Mount Doom. I'll think of that.
Nicely done.
Because even Mount Doom was created from a place of, it was misguided, it was insane, but it came from a place of wanting to create a home. So dimensionalization is one of the gifts of the show. It's like, hey, it wasn't just, I'm evil, so I'm going to block out the sun. It was Sauron being truly evil, which was to sit back and let someone do the work that he would have done anyway. And now he's going to like, okay, I'll take it from here. And he's, and then Adar will feel extra betrayed, But yeah, there's I just kind of, you're absolutely, you are very perceptive because you have I think maybe an inherent gauge on like what people want to see, what'll hook people from the beginning. It is one of the biggest mysteries of season 1 is what was that about? Like and do you remember he's like, maybe I hurt your wife, maybe a child, and he's smiling a bit.
Yeah.
So I wonder if season 2, I mean, Goosebumps again. I like how you can see the Goosebumps and the Goosebumps cam.
Yes.
So it's real. I'm not sure if I sent it to you, but there was a clip from an article saying this was our Batman's Begins. Now season 2 is going to be our Dark Knight. We get to dive into the psychology. And they also talked about Tony Soprano and if season 2 is a deep dive on like Sauron and like his dimensionality, like this is what we get now that all the pieces are in place. Like we're going to dive into like, who knows if one of the lost pages was Sauron having a child and having a wife or whatever, like we'll see. And it'll be interesting because while you're this tyrant, again, the history books, they might want to strip away any component that makes this person feel more human because they want to pursue a single narrative of
true.
like this person was evil. And
let's just make it simple. He was bad. Let's just.
That's right. So, hey, a hot take. What do you think if we do see, we found out that Elendil, had a daughter from this show, which is not, it's a lost page, let's put it that way. Sure. And so what would you think of some lost pages about Sauron's like life being revealed?
I was like running with it. Yeah, that exact scene where he was like, did I kill a wife, a child? But the thing another puzzle that I couldn't quite complete in my brain when he was talking to Galadriel and he said, I love fighting by your side, and I was killing not only your enemies, but mine. Mm-hmm. But they were killing the orcs, and you think the orcs are your army. Why would you want to kill your own army? But I had this weird, maybe incomplete thought. So if he is not on Team Adar loves his orcs. Those are his babies. Mm-mm. But Halbrand at this point, Sauron at this point, I guess, is trying to get more men and dwarves and elves even with his rings. So that's the kind of army he wants. He doesn't like the orc aspect anymore. Maybe that was more Morgoth's territory that he's like, I don't want to go that way anymore. I want these guys that are more powerful but I can't quite complete it.
Okay, you're perfect.
Go,
this is perfect. Okay, no. You're perfect. This is amazing because it's established very much in this episode as well, the final episode and throughout the series is subtlety, Yes. There's something in Andor, actually, we're watching this, where they talk about they're choking us so slowly that we don't know that we're being choked, or they're drowning us so slowly that we don't know that we're being drowned. And this is also Darwinian, is that when one organism, which was Morgoth in this instance, was very heavy-handed, like he was just that classical evil. He was the toddler tantrum,
right? That we refer to him as a lot on our podcast.
On your amazing vlogs, for sure. But Sauron noticed how there was, noticed his failings and said, like, the next version of that has to be subtler. Yeah. We have to be more deceptive or deceiving.
He's very diplomatic too. The way he even manipulates Galadriel, I was like seeing him now as Sauron. Like there was an instance where they're on Numenor. He had stolen the knife from Elendil back, Galadriel's knife, and he hands it to her and says, try to be careful or something like that. Like you're telling her the exact thing to rile her up. Like, don't mess with this. Like it's handing a sharp object to a toddler and saying, don't run, Like,
Ray said it. It's so
manipulative. It's so crazy. But,
she said it. She said it's a master class in manipulation. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. But what's interesting, though, is Morgoth did have a taste of that. There were times on Valinor where he, just like Halbrand does to Celebrimbor, where he thought the idea was his. He thought the words were his, where he implants ideas into their minds, and so much so that they think they're their own. And I couldn't figure out a good way of explaining that when I was talking about it on the podcast, but that illustration right there was just perfect. Like where he just like, I thought I came up, they're my words. I came up with them on my own, but obviously not. So maybe he's like, I like that part, but not the other parts, not the toddler tantrum part.
Definitely not. And so like passing through and deciding what to leave and what to keep, which is how evolution works. And it's scary because that's how they adapt to become more effective and more evil. Right. But also, you just made me realize I said Celeborn identity. It's actually Celebrimborn identity. Sorry, apologies. Just had to do my addendum for my joke because the character is Celebrimborn, not Celeborn. Apologies. Anyway,
those names. I kept getting Finrod and Finrod and someone else mixed up on the podcast, and I did it like 12 times. You know who I mean, people.
Yes, indeed.
Fingon and Finrod.
Indeed.
Those ones
So, but I have to keep like, oh my God, really showing appreciation for this thing you've hit upon, which is
are. Oh,
Sauron's complexity, right?
yes.
No, you nailed it. Like Sauron's complexity is season 2. That's why I'm so hyped for what you said,
Yeah.
because it will be this thing where we see that throughout season 1, and I love that there was this. He like, made it was terrifying making Galadriel go into her own mind, forcing her there into the very origin and trying to corrupt her memory. I mean, the goosebumps again, like that's
Okay.
something that dictatorships do, propaganda. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry. I have to talk about that scene with the brother. I have to.
Yes, go.
Abby and I were texting each other because the finale we did a text while watching, and we could not figure out why was he so creepy. I even looked; it was the same actor, but it was not. I swear. And I was trying to figure it out. I watched it again, and I think it's because he doesn't blink. He doesn't blink.
He's not blinking
at all.
Yeah,
and his eyes are just like a bit more open, and his mouth, it's almost got like a Joker smile. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
We're gonna get him on the show. Do you want to be on the show with him?
Yes, please. Although I feel bad now saying he had a Joker smile, but I would love to know that acting method, I guess. How were you so cool in one episode and so creepy in another?
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing him up now. Will Fletcher, that's him. Okay,
yes,
on Instagram.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll definitely
in my head, he's the World War II guy. I don't know why he's the World War II guy, but
we talked about this. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Has those vibes? He looks like that.
Yeah, it was very much like the Stranger Things guy. You know who I'm talking
Jamie
about?
Campbell-Bower.
Yes,
Jamie Campbell-Bower.
Where he looked so normal in some episodes, and then he got creepy, and I don't know how.
It's acting. It's
the only thing I could think of was the non-blinking.
I'll do a smile. Ready? I'll try. Ready? I'll just go. That's a smile. Ready? And there's this.
Yeah, with the eyes a bit more.
A little bit more leaning in, and it was so subtle and powerful. And all I'm thinking about now is when Halbrand did these things. Like I don't know if he may have gutted himself. Like he may have given himself that spear wound to infiltrate. Right?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, and Ray was like, we didn't see him
exactly where he wants to be.
We did, yeah,
exactly
and
he wants to be.
That is the ultimate deception: is a different name, a different species, because he's a freaking Ainur.
Maiar.
Jesus, Maiar. That's
Maiar.
Right. Yeah, and now, I mean, I think. Needless to say, I think you guys are probably going to rewatch the series knowing a few things. Like you can rewatch it knowing, oh my God, that's freaking Sauron, or that's Gandalf. Like, are you going to do a rewatch?
Well, actually, I want to do a rewatch when we get to
season
the last part of the Silmarillion. The part where you meet Anatar. Anatar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to rewatch it for sure with Abby. And watch her. I wish I could watch her face.
Okay. No, that's insane. And no, I love that we're talking over each other. There's lots of appreciation. No, that's okay. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had another theory too, if you want to hear my crazy
Please
theory.
do. Always.
Okay. What is Halbrand doing on a raft when we first meet him?
This is, thank you. I mean, you can, if you want, go into yours, or you're happy to throw it to me.
I will throw it to you first.
You sure? Okay. I have to ask permission.
Go for it.
I have to bounce out the airwaves. My notion is that, because clearly there was other survivors there.
Right.
It's almost like a horror movie. Like he's the ring. That tape.
Oh. Yeah.
It's that VHS tape that finds its way. He's this guy who's been moving through Middle Earth, waiting, because he's again, as you said, he's an Ainur, he's a Maiar rather, and he can, his concept of time is very different. He's a god. He's timeless. He's from before the first silence broke, as he put it. So he may just be so good. Amazing. And Aussie pride, by the way. Turns out Sauron's an Aussie, and the guy who put him in power, or rather did the thing, like Jeff Morrill, I'm saying, like
Oh.
Waldreg, the guy who created Mount Doom. So two Aussies are just horrible right now, and I feel really bad.
I have a question for him. Why did he not wear a shirt for so long?
Well,
I need to
he's
know
pretty
why.
hot. That's the answer.
Everyone else was wearing like fur, though.
Ashley, Austin answered, Jeffrey Morrill is really hot, all right? He looks after himself, all right? Does those sit-ups. I can't. Jeffrey Morrill is a real deal Australian. I am not, and I can't wait to speak with him on the show. He's a musician. He's fantastic. Okay. So, all right. I'll give you the exact kind of mind's eye cinema I have is, he is totally responsible for that shipwreck. Totally. And
yeah.
I don't know how far-sighted he might possibly be, because again, I'm so open to this guy toying with this, having fun with the idea of this. I don't think it was a challenge, but that's the thing is Ray said this is like, I don't think he was being sincere fully when he was propositioning Galadriel, which again, her scenes in Alloyed will absolutely enhance the scenes in Fellowship of like stronger than the foundations of the earth. Like,
oh yeah,
she actually touched the darkness. That's why she goes into that fierce dark Galadriel aspect, is because she was this close. She literally had Sauron saying, join me. It was very Empire Strikes Back, and she said, never, you know.
I thought that was funny that was her line, though. Where she's decided to strike the line. I'm like, all right.
Okay. Yeah, like they
I did notice a similarity, though, that it was a reflection in the water that he showed her, but she shows Sam or Frodo in water. You're welcome.
Water in this we could do a whole episode on
she
water.
Is the thing of water, though, isn't she? Isn't her ring water? Or is she air? She's water.
No,
water.
I think she's air. I think Elrond is. She's water, and Elrond is air. We're getting on our feet, folks. There's lots to learn.
Sorry.
And no, you first. Go.
Oh,
take it.
I was wondering. Okay, my theory on Halbrand. Did you finish your theory on Halbrand being on the raft? Other than
right. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that he would have to have. I don't know. Maybe he needed a bit of like exposure to Southlanders. Maybe he's like, okay, I'm this fickle god. I've been kind of destroying lives, staying hidden, being a werewolf, whatever. But I
can't wait for that.
I have a concept. It's like I think there was a moment where he's like, I think I know how to do it. And I think I know how to live by my sort of infiltration deception method, which always has a stronger sway than being heavy-handed the way Morgoth was. He's like, okay, let me do something very cruel, which is, but cruel but effective, which is to give the Southlanders hope that their king is back. And he gets on this Southlander raft, who maybe there's some backstory, maybe like some kind of graphic novel or something can cover it. It's like his idea of joining this Demeter type thing, Demeter, the ship of Dracula, like it's this doomed voyage. It's a film actually coming out next year. It's going to talk about, because there's an epistolary component to Dracula where it's the sea captain talking about, I have a really weird feeling about this coffin on board, and by the time they arrive in London, the whole crew is massacred. So I would love to see the Demeter story of him leading these people astray, maybe giving them false hope. I think he gave them, because he's a god. I don't think he even needs to eat. Like, he specifically created the situation where he'd be next to Valinor with this raft on that thing. I swear he coordinated everything so that there would be a shipwreck, and so that, because do you reckon he had heard of that ship, that secret ship, being in, on its way to Valinor, and then coordinated this shipwreck thing to meet Galadriel? What do you think?
Okay, so here's my thing.
Okay,
I have questions, but I also have theories.
Yes.
How far is it from Valinor to where they leave from? Linden?
Very good point.
Because it's a small ship and they stood for the whole journey. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Who knows if there was a bit of Sauron's unnatural. I just think where the level of manipulation. The Valinor ship.
They stood the entire journey at like attention.
Oh well, yeah, they're elves, and I actually would not put that past if they did that.
True. But I was just like, well,
that's also very their knees must be very tired.
So how long is that journey? She jumps off, and then how far is I can't think of the word.
Mm-hmm.
The clouds thing, the cloud wall.
Oh, the barrier. That'll be. Yeah.
So how far is that out from Valinor? I want distances, and I want to map people, and I want to know when she jumped, and also how far that raft is offshore. I mean, because if you're going from the Southlands and that was your last route, why would you go so far out to sea? There's nothing out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one now. It's a map of Middle-earth and the Undying Lands. Okay. And what's interesting is that, I mean, it's a practical distance to do that between. So
my thing is I don't think Halbrand was out there looking for any. I mean, he couldn't have known Galadriel was going to jump off. I don't think that was his plan. I think that was way too sporadic of an event. I think he was hoping to get to Valinor and maybe cause some trouble like Morgoth did.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, I also had a theory about the worm thing too, because that really bothered me.
The worm, and they called it a worm? It's like
they called it a worm, but I figured it out. I have a whole thing on one of our podcast episodes where I was very upset. Who would have created this thing? Because the Valar don't make evil things. Only Morgoth can corrupt nice things or somewhat make evil things, depending on your theory. But I think it was one of his dragons that somehow over time became more water. And a lot of the dragons were more worm-like. Apparently, like the first dragon, Glaurung, is literally called like a worm.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
In one of the Hobbit movies, he refers to him as a worm.
Well, then, there you go. And what's a bit frightening and very effective is the idea we don't fully see it. Like, and there's never a full shot of like its jaw or anything. So that's kind of what I would have wanted. It's like it seemed very fish-like, but maybe it was more dragon-like, So that's interesting.
Just evolution.
Your brand of questions, Ashley, is just it always invites like I really love out of the box kind of reasoning, because you'll have a lot of podcasts that had like really tackle things like head on, but don't go too much into the sort of out of the box, lateral minded angles and analysis, and then minutia.
Very random.
Nope, just always never change. Speaking of random, let's roll the wheel on things to speak about.
I was about to say, I have another random thing if you want to talk about.
Yes, please go ahead.
You have
no, go for it.
Okay. I want to know, so I did a lot of research on the rings. Mm-hmm. The 3 rings.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first saw them made, I was like, how on earth did he separate the gold and the silver to make a silver ring when he melted them together? I'm not sure. I don't know smith work. I don't know metal things. But that was like, wait, what? But apparently the metal ring, or the silver ring, is not silver. It's mithril. But then how does mithril... Was it also in the other rings, but just more mixed in? I just would have expected more of a uniformity.
Interesting. We will address that right after we give skills to pay the bills. Great work.
Oh, that's my brother. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, brother. Just wanted to bring you on. And look, thank you so much for joining the stream. And feel free to ask questions where I'm opening it up. Usually it's through the tip jar, but we're still building things here. And you get special treatment because you are a sibling of my co-host. So there you go. All right. So thank you so much. STPTV. What can I call them, if that's all right?
Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Amazing. But to answer your question about this, and thank you, and share the stream. My God, tell people about it, because we're here hanging out, and feel free to bring in comments and stuff.
He will tell all of his good friends. He's the one that gave me the Lord of the Rings books too, along with my dad.
Okay, we have. This is a pretty big deal. Okay, because that chart.
He might be the nerdiest out of my brothers.
Sisters of the Shire podcast And so now he's part of like, if this was if this was the Shires was like a company, he'd be like a legacy CEO. It's like, I started this thing. Anyway, but that's really cool. Shouts out to you, Ryan. And let's get you on the show sometime. Why not?
Yeah.
So this notion of the rings being made with Galadriel's dagger, right? Another thing that when I see the Fellowship of the Ring, I'm going to sound like a broken record.
No.
When I like the forging of the three rings, you know, and holding them up, and I'll think of her melted dagger, you know.
Yeah,
I know that is a very
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was I think touching, and I love the idea of melting down a weapon to create something else beautiful.
Did you love how her first suggestion was a sword?
Yeah, see, that's telling. Very telling. Yeah, that's Galadriel for sure, the Amazonian.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I have many, many thoughts about that forging scene. I think it was beautifully shot.
Yes.
And the symbolism, you know, again, the Rings and Realms talked a little bit about the symbolic nature of alloyed, like allying oneself. Like they explore all of that minutia. Definitely give them a listen. You're the font of your own perspective. Like it's totally fine, even if you like absorb other people. Yeah, go for it. But my thing actually was the circularity of it was interesting, and Celebrimbor specifically mentioning something circular. You know,
yeah,
and that is binding. It also evoked for me, and they didn't really dive into this, and I want to use this opportunity now. Why a ring?
Yeah,
right. It's small, but why specifically a ring? Could have been a pendant, could have been a bracelet, a ring. And all I'll say, and I know this is truly, I mean, in where it ranks in terms of sacred territory is to affect the name. What if, like, to give you an idea, what if they introduced in the next Star Wars movie something that explained the word Star Wars? Like someone says the word Star Wars in Star Wars, something huge like that. And it occurred to me that Sauron influencing this forging of an item of power and influence. Why a ring? It's already, and some people are going to hate this.
Like, wait.
But I think the notion of the ring came from the idea of wanting to bind, to basically to be with Galadriel, to like a proposal, right?
Oh,
right. And so then, exactly. And then what does he do? He takes that and it's almost like like all of Lord of the Rings is a spurned proposal acting out, and right, and the events of Mount Doom and all of this tyranny. It is the having been spurned by the feminine, which is consistent with a lot of sociopaths, psychopaths, murderers, and all that. Is a central feminine figure will have rejected them, whether it's a mother or a partner or a sister or something, and they take it out on the world. You know,
don't get me started on serial killers. Don't get me started.
Okay, all right. So there's my vibe about that.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all. I do wonder, and going on to my Ashley-isms in my brain, were rings used as wedding rings at that point? At like, I don't.
Interesting.
I mean, we do obviously in our day and age, but I don't. Their rings, I feel like, were more family rings.
Of course,
I think of like Aragorn's ring,
items of power.
And that was passed down from father to son. Or
let's look it up now.
That. Yeah,
we got time. I mean, again, if you need to jump off any time. My God, it's always no pressure.
We still got an hour until
here we go.
The monster has to be put down to bed.
Origin of rings as wedding.
I did find it interesting while you're doing that, if you don't mind, that he was thinking one as a crown, which of course calls back to his grandpa Theanor wanting the Silmaril crown, and then two, but he always had 3 gems. Like, come on, like you didn't see that? Like, what were you gonna do with the other gem?
Interesting.
Obviously, it had to be 3.
Absolutely.
But I want the backstory on the gems.
Yes.
No backstory. Right. I looked everywhere. No backstory.
That's another thing which
remarked on how unique they looked. They weren't your everyday. So I'm wondering, did Celebrimbor make them? Are they artificial gems or are they found somewhere?
Yeah. Very good. And I hope people listening on their commutes, pushing their trolleys, mowing their lawns, are
You Aussie.
stewing, Aussies are stewing on that. Very worthwhile. On your many, many appearances to come, we will definitely be revisiting that one.
Okay.
But my hot 2 cents on that is it will definitely be explained, I think, in season 2. I think they they recognize that this thing of the forging of the rings, I don't think it was rushed in. It doesn't feel like it was. It feels like a perfect ending to the season.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, name the thing for a reason. It's like, well, this is the forging. It's called the Rings of Power. And now season 1 has that integrity of actually portraying what it says on the tin, which is artistic integrity, I guess, or marketing integrity, or whatever, nomenclaturic integrity. And that whole scene, I mean, I honestly feel like watching it over and over again. This moment of this, and like they use this forge, and it's. I know that there was this big plan in place, because remember, it's all super like thrown together. Do you remember? Like they're talking about one of Elrond's missions is to get a lot of mithril, so much, for the Eldar to bask in potentially. I wouldn't mind like a DK book or some kind of explanatory supplementary material that just clarifies what Elrond and Celebrimbor had in mind for that amount of mithril,
I have a question.
Yes.
Or for the world, for you.
Yes.
Okay. So they need the mithril.
Yes.
For Middle Earth.
Yes.
Apparently their linden tree is dying.
Yes.
Is poisoned.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that relate to their souls dying?
Yeah. Okay. So can I give you my theory?
Yeah. I was just like, and then how does a ring save that? Like,
absolutely. And I think this is, and hey, Ray and I gave our, like, from a huge place of love, like enormously, like you love the things you comment on because it comes from love, and that you have constructive critique for. Totally. And and this actually started way back in New York when we sat down to watch the first 2 episodes with JD and Rachel next to us, and I was watching, and all throughout the show as well, there was just a notion of, look, these guys, and they for the level of experience they had, for the endeavor they had, and for like they did Middle Earth on hard mode, like they chose they didn't chose the easier route. They chose
expert level scene. Yeah.
They chose to dive in on expert level difficulty, and considering all of that, all I was thinking was like, there's not only, I say this thing of lost pages, but I'm sure in season 2, they'll recognize, like, let's just quickly add little flickers of extra information here and there so that there aren't the Ashley kind of questions like that. But for me, my kind of Occam's razor answer, which is like simplest explanation answer, for that is that there's a apocryphal, which is not corroborated, right? There could be some Sauron manipulation to do with it, but Sauron could easily have maybe placed that. I'm like, Sauron's level of manipulation for me knows no bounds, and it could go into planting lies into the earth. Adar talked about, like, you have been told many lies, right? That could go
figure out that one.
that even the rocks and the trees have begun to believe them. And so this notion of Hithaeglir, the misty mountains and all of that, and the light being bonded to the elves, all we need is just a beautiful, elegant, explanatory retelling of that in season 2, where it just smooths it out for the Alberts and the Ashleys of the world. And here's how I hope it goes. It basically is, okay, so a bit of a Return of the Jedi kind of recap. They're in a room and they're saying, okay, here's the situation with the elves. What we think we know is that an element of our origins, in terms of us being created with this light in the world, we've just discovered that our immortality is conditional on that light, in some sense, being in Arda. This was not something we knew about. It's like you find out the small print many months later. It's like, actually, you guys are immortal, but you can only be fully immortal in Valinor, which we talked about. You, me, and Abby is like could be this weird perilous place, which now because of that fog wall, it doesn't really strike me. It could be a metaphor for like dissipation and turning into a different shape or whatever. But so you have eternal life technically, but to be on Middle Earth, there's conditions, and one of those conditions, which again is intriguing dimensionalization of it. It adds it depending on how they stick the landing with this. It could add an extra bit of pathos and respect you have to the elves who have chosen to stay behind, where it's like not only could they be wounded in battle, but they are like they're at risk in some sense because there's almost like a Horcrux type thing, right? For them. Yeah. And all I want them to do, I have just as much information as you, but all I want them to do is stick the landing with whatever this is. If they stick the landing, it could be so powerful. And I like the imagery of like the trees losing their, leaves and our grace fading. But you're right. There is definitely information that needs to be smoothed out in terms of how all that works. Right. So yeah, that's my thought.
I did love the origin story of Mithril. I thought that was so well done. So well done.
Good and evil coming together, creating a hard material. Yeah.
Yeah. But it did make me wonder, they mentioned that Celebrimbor had been experimenting with it and they had found it already. But how did they find it if the dwarves were keeping it so secret?
Yeah.
But
that's
in my Googling, I found apparently they had some on Numenor. Google,
exactly. That's another thing, and it kind of makes you feel like, oh man, if there was this is an interesting idea. It's just execution, and that's often tends to be the issue with a lot of these things. I don't resonate with immediately off the bat. I know that I just have a vibe that they've picked up. They've even said that it's obviously we know they did Ardo on hard mode, and they're like they said we got too caught up in little things and in other things here and there, where I think it would be beneficial if we keep an eye more from season 2 onwards on the bigger picture. Because we were just wondering, I think all of us, you included, throughout, just time, I think maybe just sequence it all together so that it really means something. Because at the moment there's these interesting ideas that are sort of not quite touching each other, right? And I guess that's why podcasts exist, to put theories out. But yeah, Ray had that exact question. It's she was actually getting annoyed. It's well, Elrond's promised never to tell anyone about Mithril, but Celebrimbor knows about it. And then where's the line of him having broken his oath? And then do you know what happens to Elrond
and he
later?
Took it on himself. I found that. I was like, Elrond.
Yeah, exactly.
That just shows you what kind of person Elrond is, for sure.
Yeah. But if I were to be hey, we're in the writing room for season 2 now, and I turn to them, it's hey, how are we going to clarify this for season 2? It's oh, well,
I would love that clarification.
Me too. And I think I'll just do some mind's eye cinema with it. It's say we're in that room and they say, look, right after the amazing opening scene with Adar, right?
Right, of course, because that's going to happen.
That could it will. There you go, pizza, yes. It will segue into maybe Gil-galad saying, and he's got a very powerful kind of VO voice. It would be good to open him talking about Elvish version, Tolkienian beautiful version of this. But so let me get this straight. This has happened with this land that is called Mordor. We, the elves, still here, are dying because of, and that insert because of is this beautiful, cannot be, is unequivocally understandable explanation of the light of the Eldar. So streamlined, and I think it'll be something we were made on a Middle Earth that is very different to the Middle Earth we're here. We are being constantly called back, and there's a sense of that in the Third Age too. It's the elves are fey. Our people are leaving these shores. There's know, and I think seeing the origin of that has the potential to be quite poignant. And then it will lend weight to when they do finally leave at the end of Return of the King.
I did find it interesting that they Sorry, I keep interrupting.
That's okay. No, go for it.
When they first sent the people to Valinor, like, oh, you got this wonderful gift of going to Valinor. Like, it's not. I also want to know, how do they get like a free pass? Like, do they?
Yeah.
They send a tweet, like a bird, like, okay, Monway, we're coming on this day at this time. These people are clear. I want to know that kind of, because they were allowed in. But how come it was like, if we don't do this, we're gonna die? Like, there's nowhere else we could possibly go. Like, there's a whole Middle Earth. You could go to Valinor. You could go. Like, I didn't understand like the life and death moment that was happening, because there's so many other things.
Yeah, this thing of Durin being like, my friend is drowning.
My friend is drowning. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it's heavy.
I love their friendship so much.
I love their friendship so much. I think just watch As All the Beautiful. I think there's going to be some ArtStation, DeviantArt, Tumblr, beautiful art of just like these two. Just because there's a lot of amazing artists. You also seriously shouts out for showcasing all these amazing artists across all your different, like, it's wonderful.
I haven't gotten their permission, but I give them as much prop as I can. I'm like, I'm doing it. Sorry, people need to know.
They need to know, and I think you're being very instinctive. And like, first thing in the description is crediting them with their URL. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So to clarify that scene, to do like not a rewrite, but like to do another pass on that scene conceptually. Yeah, all I would say is, it's like, Dad, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but all I know is that what we're seeing, and you can see, because they could have tied it actually to his own little mini tree, the tree that he gave the seed,
right?
Elrond. So seeing that, and I really love that idea of this ore. I mean, I almost teared up. It's like, wait a minute, this mithril, this stone is sorry. Hey,
no,
hi.
Okay.
That's all right.
I'm still
no
here.
Worries. Excellent. No, I was just saying hi to whoever entered. To whoever they may be. This idea of this stone like healing this leaf, I loved that image.
That image was so cool.
It made me think of Gimli, and I mean, I saw it. It's like, it was like a little Gimli and a little Legolas on the table, and what I think the best thing that this could happen, what could happen here, is that we get a precedent for the healing energy that happens between these two seemingly disparate, like, nature, trees, all of that, and hard rock and stone. It's like, but when you come together, there's a healing that happens. So if they nail this narratively, it will make all those scenes with Legolas and Gimli feel all the more almost...
Yeah.
Like with the blessing of the gods, or with the blessing of the elements, even though apparently Eru Iluvatar, according to Knew Better, Do Better, he said this, is like they, and not according to him, obviously, like he's quoting from the text, but, even Eru Iluvatar is like, these people won't get along. Like the creator himself, like they won't. Right. And they do.
That's one of my favorite chapters is Yavanna and...
Just absolutely beautiful. So
needlessly, he'll have need of wood.
Right? Exactly. So that's how they can make it really effective. But yeah, season 2, you know what I mean? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to really come at the side of the dad and why he was so against it. Like, of course, you're Team Durin. My friend is drowning. He's like almost in tears about it. And you're like, of course, why don't you just give your son what he wants? Okay, so I'm like thinking, okay, if this is Durin, he's called Durin the Deathless because he's been around so long. I don't know how long, but think of all of the elf drama and elf crap that has been going on since he's been around. He's like, dude, if they're gonna die, like, not on me. Like, they've done enough on their own. So I kind of...
I want to do... I think there's going to be some crossover memes with Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. Nature has selected them for extinction.
Yeah.
And
they had their chance.
They had their chance. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to do, like, without anyone announcing it, Jeff Goldblum is going to play his dad during the third. There's going to be no acknowledgement.
Someone needs to make that meme.
Someone needs
Come
to
on,
make that
universe.
meme. So come on, meme makers. But yeah, in a similar way, there's a notion, there's a clash of ideals. And what I like is if they do a Crichtonian twist, which is like, listen, you're going against nature here by trying to prolong the life of the
Yeah.
elves on Arda, and that leading to Durin's Bane, and that leading to basically tragedy in some way, that it came from this beautiful place of wanting to keep their friends alive, where by all rights, like there's just that could be it. All that Prince Durin is saying is like, Dad, I don't think this is a natural thing. I think this is the result of evil, and we have to fight it, and we have to help them so that they can protect themselves. I don't think this is like the turning of the leaves. Like, it's clearly corruption. This isn't
Right.
So from one point of view, Durin, like young Prince Durin, is perfectly right. Like he's like, this is an unnatural thing, and we should, combat it. We should take action. But
the dwarves have been always like, not my problem. I can hide under this cave, and not my problem. It's not affecting me. Once it affects them, then it'll be a different story. It will be.
They care nothing
later.
Hey, we need to do this, Abby. Sorry, we need to do this, Ashley. Ashley and Abby, both of you. I know that Abby's listening back to this, maybe. We need to go through Fellowship armed with season 1, just Fellowship, and look at Elrond. How spiteful he is. Elrond, who used to be friends with Durin, they care nothing for the troubles of others, remember?
Yeah.
They sit in their halls like, what happened, And
even the friction between elves and dwarves in general, the pointy ears, and I'm trying to explain that to Abby, because I mean, she doesn't know yet. Like she hasn't seen all the bad stuff that happens in the middle. And even Elrond and Galadriel, thinking of them as how close they were, and how they have these like random kind of tie-ins during Hobbit, when he saves her, and their mind things that they do with each other.
Yeah.
So weird. They came across a little too friendly for my taste. I get it, but at the same time, you could have stepped back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially because he's going to be the mother-in-law.
Yeah. Very, very on point. Very on point. Wow, Ashley, we've been in Khazad-dûm for 1,000,000 years. Let's get out of here. Let's go to the surface.
Should I refer to my list, or do you have a list?
I have a mental list like that goes forever, obviously. But now you must. If you have a list, we have to honor your list. Go.
Okay. Well, I have to find my list. So you go off of your list.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll throw one out very quick so we can get to her list.
Yeah, you throw one out.
So for me, Numenor, right? This stuff, or whatever happened there, Soprano style, with Pharazôn and Tar-Miriel and Arian. That's another area where I'm really looking forward to a bit of narrative smoothing out. Yes. Once again, these guys did everything on hard mode. So many characters, like Kemen's path, for example, with supporting his father and stuff, all of that. It's genuinely a multi-genre. Oh, okay. It's a multi-genre show.
Sorry,
like
go ahead.
Totally political genre. So my theory, or like my interesting question to you is,
sure.
How do you think season 2 will cover, or will it maybe even be some season 2 covers completely, or just begins to cover Pharazôn's, 3-2-1 spoilers for people who have read the book, but capture of Halbrand? Where will that be placed? Will that happen in season 2? Like bringing him back to Numenor? Will the sinking happen? All that.
So I didn't go that far. I think that's maybe a bit more down. I think where season 2 coming off, starting in Numenor, where they're going to start there is, and I can't remember her name, the sister.
Arian. Yep.
Yeah. So she has a role in here somewhere. She isn't in the books necessarily. So like she has to have a significance to the storyline. And my theory is that she is going to look at Palantiri, whatever they call it, because they practically shoved her up there
Yeah.
And she's going to see the fall of Numenor. She's going to know what's going to happen because only Muriel and the king know that that's going to happen right now. Right?
Ooh.
So she's going to freak out. She's going to tell her new boy toy. And then the boy toy is going to tell the dad. And then his fighting so hard to stop it is what's going to start it.
Not end of stream, but literal mic drop, because that's absolutely what's going to happen. That is so salient to me. I'm going to actually, I will credit you completely wherever I say this.
Sure.
I'll just be like, this is my friend Ashley said this.
Consider it a gift.
Oh, don't. That scared me. Don't do that. Take it back. I don't want gift. Also, how high we're going to have to go through with Abby when she's on at some point. Like, what were those moments?
She's getting close.
Yes, Abby, what was that moment? These moments that made you say that. But 1,000,000,000%, and that will be bittersweet, and that will have an element of like, if only, if only she didn't, even though she had good intent, and it won't be her.
He practically shoved her up there.
And we don't. Oh God, I really hope this for Ariane to remain good. Oh, there we go, Abigail. Look at you arriving. Hi. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see you, mate. How are you? How are you, mate? Hello, I'm so glad. Big applause, everybody, welcoming Abigail herself to the stream. Wonderful. How does the day find you, my friend?
Yeah. It's
yeah.
That good, huh?
Yes.
That good. Huh?
No, it's just been like a mom crazy day. It's been, the after effect of when the volcano exploded and there was like smoke and stuff everywhere in the show. That's what my hometown looks like right now because of forest fire.
I was going to say, that was Oakley's diaper today.
Yo, I will put in I'm not kidding. I'll put in the description in the post, like editing and stuff or whatever. There's not much editing with live. I just like to kind of add extra stuff into the description. I'll put some stuff like for people who are affected. Is that cool? Like some links and stuff to help?
Yeah,
that sucks.
It's like, there's a lot of fires going on.
Oh,
so weird.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Yeah, they let the kids go to school, but they don't let them out for like recesses or anything like that because it's just so bad. Like,
and it's so not our territory. That's all California's deal, and now it's ours.
Yeah, that is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But
okay, well, sending good vibes.
We're not affected in any way other than just like smoggy grossness, and the sun looks like it's on fire, but it already is on fire.
I do remember.
It looks way creepier.
That's heavy. I remember in like, I can't remember how long ago it was, maybe like a year or two ago, it was something happening in like LA or something. There was like, it looked like Blade Runner outside because of all the crazy, like,
yes.
It was nuts.
It does look like that. It's like orange. Everything is orange, and then it's like the sun is like red, and it's pretty intense. It's Mordor outside.
So please let's blame Adar for what's going on.
Thanks a lot. No, it was that.
Thanks a lot.
Creepy bartender man. It's his fault.
Okay. So what is this? I'm going to tell Jeff is an Aussie, right? I'm going to tell him that you guys have it into him.
I just want him to put a shirt on.
He's an attractive man.
I'm not saying he's not attractive. I'm just saying.
I know there's running water somewhere.
Okay.
That's not very sanitary either. He's cutting the food, and all he had was the apron on, his sweat. That's just. I'm just saying.
He when you got to flaunt it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So how do I delete one overlay? I'm just going to delete it, I guess. Oh, no, I've deleted the background.
How do I delete one of these sisters?
Damn it. Okay,
I'm done with Ashley.
I just get her out of here.
I basically deleted the wrong thing, but I want to make...
I can have a cool background. All you can see is my... Nope. This side.
No,
I noticed that in the background of mine was all of
my vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum? No, but...
I'll send this to you, Abby.
Hey, Okay, yes. And I'm actually, for the next one, I'm actually going to send you guys like pretty cool rad. Hey, we're all on the
Yes,
same
please.
podcast type of thing. Yes, and Abby, because we have I'm just going to ask you. I know that, as Ashley probably said, it's like you might not probably not be able to join, but in about like 5-ish hours, we'll be speaking with the
Oh, yeah.
Dweller, as in like Bridie Sisson herself. So I don't know. I just want to see if you can join us. If you wanted to and could join us, that would be
I'm
great.
probably going to be unconscious.
Okay. All right. No workers. I think what we'll do, because I don't think I'm already vibing with this. She's such a good vibes to this person, good, like kindred, having her back on the show at some point. So we'll be able to, and then there'll be
so much fun. I'll join you in my dreams.
Tell her who you were gonna get for me.
Yes, absolutely.
She's gonna die. She's gonna die.
So I will be reaching out very shortly to. Are you familiar with the Hobbit trilogy, my friend?
The Hobbit trilogy.
Trilogy.
Yes, I just watched all of them.
We were talking about Kili and Tauriel. And I want to be. I want A Turner on this show, and I want Ashley on this show as well, and I want you on the show, and it'll be really good for all four of us to riff. So that's in place. That's
I can't tell if she would fangirl more for Keely or for Poldark. I'm not sure.
Poldark.
Because no, that's okay. Poldark, yep. And because I am so interested, and I want Lord of the Rings podcast to be a forum for. In the off season, especially off seasons of the show, I guess, to bring in perspectives on other adaptations onto the current one, So I think he would have some interesting thoughts about like how they're approaching this, how they're approaching, and I think Aidan would be very insightful with his thoughts. He's a very, man of depth, to discuss for sure.
He was excited. So, he didn't have to wear one of those noses.
How much less their costumes weigh than his costume.
Kinda. And I think, you know what, I think that's going to be a bit of a moment of levity that I think I want you to spearhead. It's like, okay, so Aidan, let's talk about how much easier these freaking, Rings of Power people have on the costuming side of things, right?
Yeah, I just binged all the Hobbit movies, and I'm like, the costume designer for the dwarves.
Yeah.
Genius. Like, so beautiful. King, who's the king? No. His grandpa, who went crazy.
Thor?
Who went crazy? Thor. Yeah.
Thor, whatever. With his beard armor?
Oh, beard armor. Beard armor.
So cool.
See, I'd rather that than the creepy Persian helmets any day.
Okay, yeah. So Abigail, would you like to weigh in on?
Sorry,
on
Rings
Ashley's,
of Power costumer. I'm sorry.
on Ashley's aversion to the armor of the dwarven. I suppose there would be the dwarven like gate guard. The ones who sort of make sure you don't stray off into the rest of Khazad-dûm when you're being escorted out.
The ones that look like faces.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How you doing with that?
Well, I mean. They carry it throughout all their aesthetic. There's like a lot of giant dwarf stone faces everywhere. So I guess they're just like keeping with the theme.
Okay. Not sure if you'll be able to.
Hey, we have Ashley.
No.
Oh, yeah, nice. If I'm not mistaken, that's you giving them at least a little bit of props for like why it would be relevant. That's okay. No worries. We're not going to start a flame war around. There's only love here. Love.
Now I have to be careful what I say around your Rings of Power things because you're going to interview the people and they're like, why does she hate me?
Hey, here's the thing though. Across all the outlets, all of it, there's just always, for me, it's so huge. It's like I am. If it was like chemistry, I'd be whatever agent you can add to like. I cannot alchemically interface with any form of drama. I'm like an absolute empath. I would not be able to like, take sides or whatever. That's why I think the podcast thing kind of works. Is I am the eternal kind of peacekeeper, but
you and Abby.
But no, Yes. But yeah, so I thought
I sent it on the thing because I need you guys to see it too.
All right. Oh, also, now, like, sometimes thoughts just pop in. There's that beautiful kind of raven statue. Raven kind of.
I hadn't thought about that. It was a raven. Okay. I'm like, bird.
Well, don't they say the ravens are coming back to the mountain? Like, aren't ravens like a special thing?
Thrush knocks on the things, and
oh my god,
in the book,
ravens are coming back to the mountain or something. So I guess are they special for for dwarves?
Yeah, because they spoke to the ravens. They were like they're things. They're carrier pigeons, but on crack.
Scary pigeons. Scary.
Okay.
Carrier pigeons.
Scarier pigeons. Okay. All right. Well, then that answers that. That's amazing. Thank you for the lore props. Very good.
Yeah, but
props for your lore.
Maybe, what's his name? Monway gave it to them as like a way to like communicate because he's like a bird. Isn't he the bird? He's overall like bird.
Yeah, he's the bird guy, but I just don't feel like he likes the dwarfs that much.
Well, maybe he's like, here, you can have these gross black looking ones. They're not.
I want to talk about exactly, but I want to talk about like why a symbol, like a huge heraldic symbol for the dwarves, is something that flies when they're sort of
like to be
mostly
outside.
like they're sort of not averse to the sky, but they often don't have the sky visible. So that's kind of interesting to me. Maybe there's a bit of a symbolism thing there. But Abby, just so that we cover off, first of all, how long can you stay with us? I know that Ashley said did you say you have to, or how long does can the party go on for?
I can go for probably like another half hour.
Another half hour? Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, then that would literally take us into a big old 2-hour stream. I like that. I like that.
Sorry. I'm soccer mom right now, so I've been like...
It's fine. All good. All good. Also, can you just randomly... Again, we're getting on our feet. It's early. I've done this whole thing where I'm like... bringing everything onto the one channel. It's happened only recently, so people might be like waiting at the Lord of the Rings YouTube, be like, where's the stream? It's like I've moved everything. I've moved the video stuff to the one place. Audio feeds stay the same. So
it's a different Zoom thing. It's not Zoom. It's whatever. It's a duck.
It is a duck, yeah. So it is StreamYard is the new path forward. So no Zoom anymore. Not when we can help it, because basically this can you go straight out to the different feeds, and I can convert this straight away to like an MP3, and then like it's super quick. So, but what I was going to say, Abby, look, if you go onto the YouTube, I'll actually put it in the chat. Check me out. I'll put it in the private chat. Go to the YouTube and just randomly, because we had Ashley's brother chime in, and I would like some rando.
Which one?
Rando from your...
Yeah, which one?
You. Don't worry. Yeah, there's many. Don't worry. I will, and I just want someone on your side to chime in and be like, yo, hello.
Dude, get Austin on. Text Austin.
Yes, just text this randomly, and you have them chime in.
Marie?
Oh, okay. Marie is... huge Tolkien nerd. You should see our like texts back and forth. It's like
so
paragraphs and paragraphs.
Tolkien for days. I love it.
It's like a text between me and my sister's husband, my brother-in-law, and his sister, and my brother-in-law and his sister are huge Tolkien nerds like me, but my poor sister is not, and so she's in the middle of this like text conversation. She's like, "What's happening? Like, Who's that?" Like,
I really want Kylie to join us one day. Please. I would love Kylie on here.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
Please do it.
By the way, my dad is like your biggest fan out
there. To who? Me? Oh, well, I am his biggest fan.
He's already my biggest fan, so he's also your biggest fan.
Yeah.
He's been listening to our episodes, and then when he got to ours, he watched our YouTube thing. I don't know how many times. He's like, when are you doing another one with him? Like every time I saw him, when are you going to talk to Albert again?
Okay.
I don't know.
You should text him now. Send him the link now. I'd love for him to ask a question live and say hi to you. I think he would get big kick out of that. So
text him personally.
Yeah, that's very good. Go and just because we have the 30 minutes or so, just to make sure we capture this lovely thing. So while my amazing co-hosts do that, I want to let people know about. I'll do a quick little housekeeping thing. First of all, Sisters of the Shire podcast. Listen to them, enjoy them. Go over to their Instagram where they're beautifully showcasing and crediting all these amazing artists. Their meme game is unmatched in across the entire. Community of Arda, of
I'm just
Tolkien.
gold mining. I'm taking from other people, but I'm giving the credit.
I love it. You are, and that's fine.
I have curated my TikTok For You page so well that I get so many amazing Tolkien,
very good,
nerdy things that are so great. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for being our lens into the TikTok world. But yes, so that's them. Go over. I think on the Anchor you can actually support and shout you guys out with this little donation thing, right? Just to so please do that. Be free and let the love flow between all the and not just that, but creators you enjoy, because it's time they take out of their day, and it's for passion, but I think they'd absolutely enjoy and appreciate knowing that there's that extra support there. So that's speaking for them. And then later on latter episodes, no worries, on latter episodes of the Lord of the Rings podcast, you can see it in the bottom right, ask a question, tip jar, co-v.com/topic network. Basically, the idea is if you ask a question and you shout whatever amount, we'll just kind of talk about it depending on your, first of all, the quality of your question, which I'm sure will be great, but then also your shout amount will also translate to how long we talk about it. What did you want to say, Ashley?
Oh, I just sent it to my dad. No, yeah, you read my mind, but that wasn't one of the times I was going to interrupt you.
That's okay. What's your dad's name?
Brad,
let's have a chat, mate. First of all, thanks so much for showing so much support to the show. I had to say it in Australian, but no, thank you, Brad. You have clearly done.
He loves it. He would love to talk Australian
even more real than that. From having met Ashley, she does you credits. You're a credit to the role of parenthood and nurturing wonderful Tolkien-loving daughters. And shouts out to you. And let's totally get you on the show sometime. Shouts out to you, Brad. Okay.
Amazing.
So we'll see if he chimes in the comments later. But Abigail, let's go. Let's have the Abby. Let's have Abby 15 at least. Abby? You and this show, what is if I were to hold up that ink blot, it's what do you see when I show you this? And it's the Rings of Power. What's the first scene that comes to mind? Character moment? What? Go for it. What would you like? What comes first to mind when I prompt you that way?
One scene that really stood out to me that I love because it showcased what I'm sorry, that's my child.
It's amazing. Oh, I love it. Atmosphere is great. They're always welcome.
That showcased what I think Tolkien really, really nails so well is really, really meaningful relationships and bonds between characters, which I love so much. So when Durin gave Elrond the mithril and he's got kicked out, and then you see him holding it, and I'm I was yes. Or the scene where Durin saying they were trying to mine it because he's I want to help you, I want to save you and your people, and he they're talking to each other, and he's Durin's not really my real name, and he was gonna tell him, and I was
oh,
and I was and then he's nope, we're not gonna do that because everything's gonna be fine, and we don't have to talk about this is the end.
Yeah, I'm living for them,
but
I'm living for that friendship.
I know, but what I love about Tolkien and that stood out to me so much is that he writes friendships so good, and I love it so much because it's everything you want to tell your best friend and everything you want to express as a friend. You're this is so special, Sam and Frodo, or Legolas and Gimli, or even when Aragorn, he doesn't always see eye to eye with Boromir, but like when he just like is like, I'm, here for you.
I would have followed you, my brother.
And I'm just like, yes. And I'm like,
my king, my captain, my king.
Like,
totally.
I love it. I love it so much that they show such beautiful,
so wholesome,
like good friendships. And I'm like, thank you, because I feel like a lot of shows nowadays are like backstabbing and like or I don't know, but I just love that wholesome. Finally we have a show that shows amazing friendships between like, different races, different ages, different genders, same genders. I'm like, yes, hooray, like something happy and something so wholesome.
Perfectly expressed.
I love it so much.
You guys are a credit to podcasting. Ashley had some amazing points. Abby, you really summarized actually one of the heart. It's actually arguably, not even arguably, like the heart of the show. It's that friendship component. So, you know what's happening on my side? I'm having some stream stuff happening, but because Abby's coming all through pixelated, that's the Cosmos saying, like, guys, 2 hours. I think we nailed it. I've given you guys props all throughout, and I can't help it because it's just my alchemical, energetic reaction to like, this is a podcast. Go listen to them; they're the best. I've so loved having you on. Can you? Yeah, like let me know. I'll let you. I'll chime in roughly in like 5-ish hours times to see if you can join with Bridie. I think no pressure. There'll be other things, but like my opportunities are your opportunities. And yeah, the love keeps being real. You guys.
Is there anything we can do for you?
I know.
We're just real deal friends.
Kind of and mooching off with the ride. I feel like
no.
I still have that package waiting for you that I need to send.
That's okay, and I'm going to send you tracking numbers for this one. I've just had so much other Topic Network stuff to do.
No worries.
But that's heading out today.
You have a few of them.
Yeah,
maybe we'll get you on some Avatar stuff later. But no, don't feel like you ever have to do anything. If you ever do anything, it's just let people know about the show, Topic Network, and then just share the Instagram and stuff. And honestly, onwards to all of your like amazing. Like various different, because you have I think you guys are on Twitter, right, as well? Sisters of the Shire?
I can start one.
Okay, please start one. That's me putting my producer hat on. Just start one. Start one, and then so all your different outlets, obviously the podcast and the Instagram, may they continue growing and then having lovely growth. Like next time you're on, I already know that there's going to be more of the, I don't know what your fans, you call them, like Shirelings or whatever, like your lovely followers, your Shire sisters,
honorary
SOS Army
sisters.
Or something.
Yeah. But you're our honorary brother.
They're all sisters. They're all sisters. All sisters.
You guys honorary sisters of the show as well. So seriously, and like always sending constant support for that. And we'll get you very soon on an upcoming one. There's so much to talk about in the off season. So gigantic hugs from Australia. Big hugs.
Cross Atlantic hugs.
That's right.
Pacific hugs.
For shiz.
All
okay, everybody.
Time zones, crossing all the time zones.
Indeed. And with this one, if you want, I'll send you the details. You can also share this one to Sisters of the Shire. I'll do some editing as well. So how about that?
Please, sorry. Can you do the whole work for me, Albert? That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.